Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with two matches here in the Engage Zero. This first match here is going to be on Colony Drop area, while the next one is going to be a space match on Fortress Interior, and these are both going to be 450 cost rated matches, and the Engage Zero is a 450 cost general, and a very nice general at that. It comes from the UC Engage Collaborative Token Pack, and again, a very nice general for what I've seen here and for the matches I've been able to get with it, especially at a cost like 450, where if you know anything about 450, it is typically dominated by suits like the Jetta and the Gym 3 powered, so it is nice to see something here that kind of shakes up that setup a bit. And I've actually seen a good amount of this suit as well, which surprises me for a token pack suit. Typically when it comes to these type of suits, I feel like I'll see them like once or twice when the pack releases, and then after that you really don't see it as much, which may be the fate for this suit in the future. We are still in the first week of this suit's debut, so that could always change, but even for the initial debut of this suit, I feel like I've seen it a lot more compared to the other token pack suits of the past, with the two I can name off the top of my head really being popular picks were the Gym Command Light Armor when it released, and that's because the Gym Command Light Armor is a really good 300 cost raid, and it still is to this day. So that one I did understand when it got out how strong that suit was. I can kind of get that one, and the one that kind of follows that up is Char's Gelgook, which, for the main reason of it being Char's Gelgook, is why I believe that one also did so well. Even like the Dejay from Narrative, I haven't really seen that suit as much, and I have been playing a decent amount of 600, so another surprising case of just not really seeing that suit that much. But for the Engage Zero here, it is a very nice general. I think it might actually be our first token pack general now that I think about it, and it does come with some nice weapons and skills. I will start with some of the cons I think about this suit, mainly being that it does have low resistances and HP, which is understandable because it is a very slim mobile suit, which does actually go into his benefit because that means you are going to have less of a hitbox. So you really want to try to make use of this thing's mobility, and when I get to the skills, you'll really see what I mean when I say make use of this thing's mobility as much as you can. But starting with the weapons, you do have an instant stun beam rifle that is heat-based, which did surprise me at first when I was testing it, because, well, it even looks like it has an E-Pack on the top there, but usually when it comes to the GPO-like beam rifles, they tend to be more ammo-based, like the E-Pack base, so kind of surprising to see this one is a heat-based version, which my only theory as to maybe why they did that was just so it kind of differentiates from the other two sub-weapons that you have on this suit, because if there was an E-Pack based one, then it would have benefited really well from having the reload parts. But it's a very nice beam rifle. It's pretty standard for what it is. Kind of similar to, I'd say, the beam rifle that the Gym 2 and the Gym 3 can use. Kind of like their beam rifle, where you just shoot it, you get a stun, and you wait for it to, you can wait for it a bit. You can fire a second shot, but you will overheat the rifle. So at that point, it really is just waiting for it to be ready again. Your next weapon is a beam saber. I do want to talk about this for a moment, as the beam saber is probably the suit's strongest weapon, and also is one that I had to learn to use, mainly because the downswing it uses is shared with the Galwadi Beta FS, and I believe maybe the GPO1 Aqua, but I'm going to just say, for safety reasons, just going to say it's on the Galwadi Beta FS, that much I can confirm, and it was very interesting, to say the least, at first, when I started using it, because I'm not used to using that downswing as a main means of damage. When you think of the Galwadi Beta FS, you really think of a support in a general's body, which is how that suit operates. It even has one melee swing, so for that suit it kind of made sense for it being the way it is, especially just being a reverse version of the regular Galvo Beta's downswing. But on this suit, you really want to make use of this melee as much as you can, especially against raids, as you will get like 5,000 or like a little over 5,000 damage, depending on what raid you're hitting. And it was very, especially in space, it was very hard because your suit drifts in space, so just having that alone, if you try to like, if you're boosting sideways and try to go for a downswing, you did run the risk that maybe you could hit the first swing, but your second poke would absolutely miss, and yeah, that's something you just had to learn after a while. Even on the ground maps here, it can have its disadvantages, being that if you try to hit something, you might be able to hit that like right upper slash as like the first swing, but the poke could absolutely miss depending on, again, what type of suit you're really trying to aim for. If it's a skinnier suit, it might be a bit weird, but if you can really land both of those swings, and again, you'll just do some really good damage. Another flaw I should point out is that the downswing is not a good follow-up to if you already downswung somebody. If you're trying to do a follow-up, it's much better to use the neutral, as the full downswing will not be able to like play in time before that person can get up and they get their iframes. And I think that first downswing does less damage in comparison to the neutral. So if you're trying to do follow-up damage with your melee, it's just easier to go for the neutral swing and just try to get, again, just maximize that damage as much as you can. Your next weapon is the head-mounted Vulcans, and these are really decent Vulcans because they are good at accumulation stagger. They also have some decent damage behind them, but they are meant to be more used as a stunning tool. And the same thing can be said for the next weapon here, that being the bullpup machine gun. And this one operates differently from the usual bullpup in that instead of being just a regular machine gun, it actually fires in bursts. And if you hit 2 full bursts, you will get a stun. So a lot of the suit's weapons are very nice for getting stuns and trying to set up your melee attacks. And this also plays really well into the main skill I want to go over that comes with this suit. Now the Engage 0 does come with your typical set of general skills. You do have skills like the emergency evasion system and melee combo controller. You also have skills like quick boost and the flight control program. But the new skill that comes with this suit and the raid version, that being the Engage 0 with booster, it is the Aux Thruster Control System. And what this skill does is that when you activate high-speed movements, after a set period of time, it's like, I would say maybe it's like a second or two. It's nothing too long, so it won't be too hard to get this to activate. You will have increased movement speed by 10%. It will reduce your cumulative attack damage, and it will disable high-speed compatible weapons. And by disable, that means you'll be able to use these weapons while you're in this boosting animation. And you can also tell when you're in the animation as well, as the backs of the skirt will rise up, and you'll have thrusters in there as well. So that's when you know you're in that animation, and you'll actually see it here for a bit as I start boosting. And you'll see the suit kind of just bends forward, and you'll have those extra thrusters in the back there, and then you're safe to use that skill. Now the thing with this is that it is compatible with not just the beam rifle, but the machine gun as well. And the Vulcans, being the typical Vulcans, they can already be used while you're boosting. So pretty much, as long as you have that activated, every weapon on this suit can be used while boosting, which is part of why I say this is a really nice general, as I believe so far it is the only one at this cost that is able to do that. And the only, I think, other closest thing is going to be the 500 cost Engage 0 with booster. And even then, I believe the only other thing we've even had close to this was the 700 cost Sinaju, which has that skill with its beam rifle where it's able to shoot it while boosting. And that is only for the beam rifle. You can't use that for any other weapon. This suit really just throws that concept out the window, and it's not even a touchpad skill on this suit too, like it is on the Sinaju. So very nice skill there to have. especially at this cost with suits like the Jetta and the Gym 3 powered. It's very nice for just allowing you to move in, get a stun, get your melee, and you can just quickly boost out, and if someone's chasing you, you can just shoot at them and possibly even stun them before they have any chance to attack you. So a lot of good coming from this skill here. And again, you get that higher mobility, so overall some very nice, a lot of stuff can be done with this skill. The way I kind of treat it is almost like if I'm playing a transformed suit, kind of just want to keep boosting as much as I can, and kind of like maybe get a stun. If I can get in the melee, I will, but typically sometimes I'll try to get a instant stun in and try to boost out of the way. Really try to use some hit and run tactics, which I think really works for this suit given its fragility, and I think that's what they also want you to do with it as well, because you really got to be careful with just how low the resistances are and paired with your health. But if you can really get past that, you can really just start stacking damage on this suit, which you'll see what I did with the previous match, and in this match here, yeah, it's able to do some overall really good damage. And well, let's say overall it was worth the token pack suit, and I think I've even heard this one is getting a bit more praise when compared to the raid version. I've heard the raid kind of has the same fragility issues, but a bit worse because that one is a cost above this. And, well, it does come with the same skill as this as well, so really won't say too much about the raid version as I don't have it, so I don't want to say anything about it without really having any experience with it. But I would say, though, if it does share some of the same strengths with the general, it might be possible to apply some of those. I know the raid also has a heavy attack as well, so it does have a bit more going for it as well. But for the general version here, yeah, I'd say it's a very nice 450 that is worth having. And I think that pretty much just summarizes my thoughts on this suit, really. Oh, I should also mention you do have that shield on your arm. It's considered a large size shield, and it does all the typical things that a shield does. Really nothing too special there, just gives you an extra bit of defense, which, as I mentioned with the low resistances, nice to have something that can maybe take any possible extra damage. And yeah, so that's all I have to really say about the Engage Zero here. Overall, a suit I want to use a lot more if they start having 450 be a more prominent cost. Hopefully when the high mobility camper releases for the next updates, we will get more 450, especially ground matches. I want to try the suit a bit more on ground. I was able to get a lot of space matches, but I feel like I haven't really been able to get the ground matches I really wanted to, especially trying on maybe more open maps because of how this suit works. I think these more closed-in maps, like this map here, Fortress Interior, is really closed in for a space match, so I think that kind of helped benefit it. But on a map like maybe, say, Deserts, or maybe even like Port Base, well, Port Base doesn't even appear anymore, so maybe Military Base would be a more likely one, so it would be interesting to see how this suit operates in those conditions. But for now, I will say, yeah, I have a pretty positive outlook on this suit, and I intend to use it more in the future whenever I can. That's going to be the end of me talking for this video here. I'm going to let the rest of this space match here play out. Comment down below what you think about the Engage Zero. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.
An SOS from an ally. We've lost an allied unit. Well, I'll be darned. You're mowing them down. The enemy's captured a beacon. This op's got 2 minutes to go. Trenches are now more valuable for this mission. mobile suit has been destroyed. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. We've lost an allied unit. This op's got 1 minute to go. Don't give up now! The enemy's captured a beacon. See you soon! An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Time has run out! All right, we win! Here are this battle's rewards.